Walk into any home in America today, open a drawer, and you'll find the same thing almost every household has: a pile of dead or dying gadgets. Old phones, laptops that won't hold a charge, tablets that slow to a crawl, earbuds with batteries that last 10 minutes, and appliances that seem to fail right after the warranty expires. And the strange part is this: it didn't used to be like this. Devices lasted longer, batteries held up, laptops survived years of use. But in the last decade, something changed. Today, technology is failing faster, not because we're using it differently, but because the hardware itself is being pushed to its limits. So the question is, why are American devices dying sooner than they should? What changed inside our gadgets, inside our manufacturing, and inside the way companies design tech today? Let's start with one of the biggest culprits: the modern battery. For years, lithium-ion batteries powered everything from phones to laptops to wearables. But today's devices are thinner, hotter, and far more power-hungry than older models. Screens are brighter, processors run more complex tasks, storage is faster, and cameras pull in more energy than ever before. But battery chemistry hasn't evolved at the same pace. So what happens? Batteries swell, degrade, and fail years earlier than they should. And in many devices sold in the US right now, the battery isn't even replaceable. It's glued, soldered, sealed, or tucked behind components that require a technician to reach. When the battery starts dying, the whole device starts dying with it. But batteries are just the beginning. Another major change is thermal pressure, the heat building up inside modern tech. Chips today are absurdly powerful. Even non-AI devices run complex photo processing, high-res displays, 5G modems, and multitasking that would have overloaded older hardware instantly. But all that power produces heat, and heat is the silent killer of electronics. Heat weakens solder points. Heat degrades connectors. Heat accelerates battery decay. And heat forces manufacturers to choose between performance and longevity. Many devices today are built with thin chassis, limited cooling, and barely any airflow. It looks nice on the outside, but inside, the components are cooking. Then there's something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough: component consolidation. Years ago, devices used modular parts, separate chips for separate functions. But to make gadgets thinner and cheaper, manufacturers started combining components into single integrated parts. Storage is soldered to the motherboard. RAM is fused in place. Charging ports are tied to multiple internal circuits. These integrated components are efficient, but there's a downside. When one tiny part fails, the whole system becomes unusable. A broken charging port can mean replacing the entire board. One dead memory cell can brick an entire laptop. A single damaged ribbon cable inside a phone can take out major functions permanently. This isn't planned obsolescence, it's just fragile engineering. Now let's talk about software strain. Even though this video isn't about AI, the truth is that modern software in general is heavier, more demanding, and more reliant on constant updates than ever before. Operating systems grow in size every year. Apps run background processes continuously. Security updates pile up. Devices that once performed well suddenly struggle, not because the hardware is failing, but because the software moves faster than the lifespan of the components. Think about phones that feel slow after 2 years, laptops that can't keep up with browser updates, tablets that freeze under newer apps. In many cases, the hardware is fine, but the software ecosystem has outgrown it. Another major factor is something people rarely consider: the materials themselves. Many modern gadgets use plastics, thin metals, and compact joints that aren't designed for long-term durability. Charging cables fray faster, hinges loosen, buttons wear out, ports degrade. Water-resistant seals weaken with time, making the device more vulnerable to dust and moisture. Older tech was bulkier, but built like a tank. Today's tech is sleek, but often fragile. But the most surprising reason devices don't last long anymore has nothing to do with engineering. It has to do with how they're used. Americans rely on more connected features than ever before. Constant notifications, cellular data, bright screens, video streaming, GPS, and background connections across multiple apps and services. 20 years ago, a phone call and a few texts wouldn't drain a battery. Today, normal usage pushes every component harder. Even when the device is sitting still, it's working. So what does all this add up to? A real, measurable tech lifespan crisis in the US. Devices that once lasted 5 to 7 years are now struggling to survive 3. Gadgets that should run smoothly begin to slow, overheat, or glitch because the hardware was built to meet design trends, not durability. Meanwhile, repairability is becoming harder. Replacement parts are more expensive. Some devices are designed in ways that make basic repairs almost impossible for the average consumer. And as a result, millions of people end up replacing devices sooner than they want to, not by choice, but by necessity. But here's the important part. This isn't a conspiracy. It's not a bunch of companies sitting in a room deciding to make devices break earlier. It's the combination of design choices, market pressure, engineering trade-offs, thermals, batteries, materials, software, and consumer habits all colliding at once. Manufacturers want thin devices. Consumers want power and features. Software wants resources. Batteries want space. And physics limits how far you can push hardware before it starts wearing out faster. So what happens next? The good news is that the crisis is finally getting attention. Right to repair laws are gaining support across the US. Consumer pressure is pushing companies to bring back replaceable batteries, more durable materials, and modular components. New cooling methods are emerging in phones and laptops. Solid-state batteries and alternative chemistries are being tested, and some US brands are quietly building longer-lasting hardware because they see that the market is shifting. There's a bigger trend happening too. Device longevity is becoming a selling point again. More consumers are asking how long a battery will last before they buy. More reviewers are testing thermals, durability, and repairability. More companies are advertising 5- and 7-year software support. And more tech shoppers are realizing that the real value isn't in the device that looks the best today. It's in the device that still works years from now. America's tech lifespan crisis isn't unsolvable. It's the result of decisions, design decisions, engineering decisions, consumer decisions, and decisions can change. But it starts with understanding what's going on inside the gadgets we use every day. And once you look closely, the truth becomes clear. Devices aren't dying faster because we're doing something wrong. They're dying faster because modern hardware is being pushed to its limits. And the real question now is whether the next generation of tech will finally break the cycle, or whether we're heading toward even shorter lifespans in the years ahead.